I have done many clips on YouTube since 2015, over 150 in fact, mostly on subjects I consider serious or otherwise important, because I believe you have the right to know about them. I am an ex-theistic Satanist, and I have experienced practical Kabbalah. I have done clips on Kiliasm, post-Gnosticism, sociopaths, and child pornographers, among other subjects. You can view them on my YouTube channel. I made a series on post-Gnosticism and made 7 clips on that. This clip will complete that series, but it will also complement the other series I have done, especially in relation to how the world is today and why. All the malevolence we see in this world right now can be summed up with the term Luxemburgism. It is named after Rosa Luxemburg, who sought to implement the philosophy of Karl Marx on a practical basis. She was succeeded by the likes of Bela Kun and Leon Trotsky, both of whom were killed by the order of Joseph Stalin. I do not believe that most people in the world today realize the intention of the Bolshevik Revolution of October 1917, which overthrew the previous revolution that overthrew the Tsar of Russia and established a provisional government. Most people do not realize there were 2 revolutions in Russia in 1917. Today, truth, history and fact are now based on opinions and feelings, and these things can be subject to change at any given time, as history is now being continuously rewritten. The truth of the intent of the Bolshevik Revolution is not being implemented in words, but in the actions which people cannot recognize or comprehend. It is still going on, as it never stopped. It is successful, as we see people ultimately surrender and accept. In deciding on how to make this clip, I had planned to explain Luxemburgism in different sections of personality, religion, history, etc. But I found all sections interact and intersect with each other. This subject and its effects cannot be explained this way. You are not dealing with a subject that can be explained in a linear manner or a straight line of compartmentalized factors and events. What you are dealing with is a spider web. It may be strong in some areas and not so strong in others, but as long as there is a spider to build on, expand, and maintain the web, it will trap and continue to trap all manner of prey. I am in Australia, but I am certain regardless of where you are in the world, you will see the same things as I do. There might be variations in the methods due to locality, but they all serve a common aim and a definite final objective. While people will say that Karl Marx was the originator of the train of thought called Marxism, there's a few things you should know. Now, you can look at various websites, read various books regarding his thought process, and they may portray him in a positive light or a negative light. But there are some issues that are just not dealt with on either side. First of all, Karl Marx basically got his inspiration from the Enlightenment of the 1700s, early 1800s, and he was in particular inspired by the likes of Hegel and Kant, two philosophers. But in the end, he decided his thought processes were better than theirs. So he rewrote everything they had originally put down and claimed it as his own. Karl Marx came from a family, both sides, mother and father, of rabbis who were influenced by the Talmud. And this is what we are dealing with Marxism. It is for want of a better word, a kosher version of the Enlightenment. And we can see this being reflected today with the likes of Antifa. So we've got what seems to be a philosophy wrapped up in an anti-religious cover. But there are some things about Karl Marx you should know. Now, we could say Karl Marx was born as Karl Marx, but in fact there is very little regarding his childhood. The name Mordecai Moses Levy has been bandied about, saying that this was the real name of Karl Marx. Looking at Karl Marx's life, it is what seems to be a spoiled child, a university frat boy. Now, apart from being a so-called journalist, the only other job that Karl Marx was known to have was in a train station where he sold tickets for train trips. And apparently he couldn't even do that and he was fired. Some people say within the first week of him having his job. He thought it was beneath him apparently. And Karl Marx married into Prussian nobility. His wife was Jenny von Westphalen. Now, they had 7 children, 4 girls and 3 boys. And he called all his daughters Jenny, which indicates someone with weird idiosyncrasies. And I'm trying to figure out how his musings, which is all he had, his personal musings became an ideology. And the thing that amazes me the most is that what we call Marxism was never complete when he called it Marxism. The economic aspects of so-called Marxism didn't come until after he first formulated his personal musings into a type of ideology. He had no understanding of economics until later. That was at the very end. So essentially we have a rich kid frat boy who was known for his drinking, his use of narcotics, and he did use narcotics, and I'll go into that shortly. His addiction to prostitutes, that's what he blew his inheritance on. He never engaged in revolution, though he was the first to support any cause at any given time. And he was pretty racist. He thought his ideology was supposed to be imposed on Europe only. But when we look at it, terms such as racism actually came from Karl Marx. Holocaust was another buzzword propagated by Karl Marx. So we're dealing with basically an overgrown kid. And Marxism was not a single train of thought. That's why we have so many Marxist ideologies, political parties, guerrilla armies and terrorists. There is no uniform definition of Marxism. So more or less it's been adopted and adapted by various people at various times. It's just called Marxism because his ideology was based on personal musings, and at the end then he adopted economics or factored in economics to that which the world unfortunately took in, and over the past 100 years has killed approximately 128 million people, as I understand. Now, we should go to the psychological health of Karl Marx. There are 2 schools of thought on this, but I suspect they are intertwined. Number 1, Karl Marx was always in poor health. He had his body covered in lesions and cysts. This was put down to liver problems, which may or may not be true. But this is what he had, and in his personal writings, he writes how he lives in a wretched existence, he hates God, and things of that nature. And from these health conditions, due to lesions and cysts and whatever, he became a drug addict. That's one form, and this probably interfered with his thinking process. If he was on drugs and drinking, then his thought process would have been in fantasy land, which is probably where his personal musings probably came into a somewhat viable ideology. The second point is that Karl Marx was a Satanist, and there would be plenty of evidence to support that claim. His personal writings cursed God, made out he was in league with Satan or whoever, and it was just continuous. See, what most people do not realise is, apart from his political writings, Karl Marx also planned to be a novelist, in the same manner as L.ron.Hubbard of Scientology. But they both failed, and deservedly so. Indeed, you could put Karl Marx and L.ron.Hubbard in the same category. People who just looked for easy money with little effort and engaged in various activities regarding the use of narcotics and alcohol, easy sex, and a grandiose vision of themselves as being celebrities who should be worshipped. And indeed, to an extent, they have succeeded. So Karl Marx's personal drug-addled musings are a base. They're like a bucket of thoughts, and people just selectively pick out what they want and apply it to them, but unfortunately they apply it to others with the same brush. But I'll conclude it here. The main problem we have at the moment is Antifa. But we have to look at where the ideology, the thought process for the likes of Antifa, which is not a single organisation but rather a conglomeration of various organisations, where did it come from? It came from Rosa Luxemburgs. And when we look at as where Marxist musings were being implemented as a form of government, we will see a lot of things that Marxists do not want you to know.